at least a dozen bodies in this room. Have you ever found a tomb with 12 burials in it?
Never.
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 This is unbelievable.
Deep inside the red cliffs of Petra, archaeologists found a sealed room. It stayed hidden for over 2,000 years.
That's a void or I'll eat my hat.
You're that confident?
Absolutely. Dude, unbelievable!
And inside, there were 12 skeletons. Nobody had touched them. And that's a really strange thing, because almost every other tomb in this ancient city disappeared a long time ago. So what makes this sealed room so different? And why are experts saying what's inside shouldn't even exist? The famous building and its hidden secret. This is the ancient city of Petra. Its huge sandstone cliffs glow in pink and red. No wonder it's one of the new 7 wonders of the world. The buildings here aren't built on top of the ground. They're cut directly into the mountains. And that already makes the place look unreal. Right at the heart of the city sits a famous monument called Al-Khazneh. People also call it the Treasury. It's about 130 feet tall, and it's over 2,000 years old. You might actually recognize it from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Some key scenes from that movie were filmed right in front of it, and that single moment put Petra on the map for millions of people around the world. More than 1 million tourists visit this place every year. They stare up at the treasury, they take photos, and then they walk away. All this time, something huge was hiding right under their feet. Nobody knew about it. Nobody even suspected it. In the summer of 2024, a team of archaeologists finally found it. A sealed room, buried directly in front of the treasury. It had been closed off for 2,000 years, and inside there was something nobody expected to see. The machine that spotted it. So how did they find a room that stayed hidden for 2,000 years? Actually, there's a surprisingly elegant solution to this. The archaeologists didn't just start digging. First, they used a special tool called ground-penetrating radar. It's kind of like an X-ray for the ground. Instead of guessing where to dig, the machine sends radio waves into the earth. Then it scans underground and shows shapes that might be tombs or empty spaces. A geophysicist named Professor Richard Bates from the University of St. Andrews rolled the radar across the plaza, and something interesting showed up on his screen. The machine picked up empty pockets deep under the soil. Professor Bates called them voids in the subsurface. These empty spaces looked very similar to other tombs already found around Petra. That was a big clue. While the team was working, a TV crew from the show Expedition Unknown showed up to film. The host, Josh Gates, wanted to investigate Petra for his new episode. His timing couldn't have been better. His crew ended up filming the whole excavation. After that, the team got official permission from the Jordanian government. And that's a really big deal. Petra is one of the most protected places in the world, so getting to dig in front of the treasury is almost impossible. But this team made it happen. Slowly, they started digging, layer by layer. And then one day, the radar's prediction came true. A stone seal gave way, a dark hole opened up, and the team stepped inside. What they saw inside. The moment the flashlights lit up the chamber, everyone went quiet. Inside the sealed room, the team discovered 12 human skeletons, all of them, men, women, and even children. And they were still lying in the same spot where someone had placed them thousands of years ago, completely untouched. No missing bones, nothing out of place. And that's what makes this find so rare. In archaeology, finding 12 complete skeletons together is almost unheard of. Experts had been digging in Petra for over 100 years. And in all that time, nobody had ever found anything like this. Professor Richard Bates called it a discovery of international significance, because these bones can finally teach us things about the Nabataeans that were lost to history. Along with the skeletons, the archaeologists found objects made of bronze, iron, and ceramic. Each item had been placed carefully, almost like a gift for the journey ahead. But one object stood out from the rest. It was a ceramic chalice, resting in the arms of one of the buried people. It looked almost like the person had been holding it when they were laid to rest. And here's where it gets wild. The cup looked a lot like the Holy Grail from the Indiana Jones movie that was filmed right above this spot. Josh Gates said the whole crew froze when they saw it. Life was basically imitating art. Later on, the experts looked at it more closely. It turned out to be the top part of a broken jug, probably from the 1st century BC. Scientists also studied the tiny bits of sand around the skeletons, and they figured out that the tomb was built somewhere between the mid-1st century BC and the early 2nd century AD. That points right to the reign of King Aretas IV, Petra's most powerful ruler. The creepy details. Now, some of the details inside that room are a little unsettling. First, some of the bones had mold growing on them. In a dry desert, that sounds kind of impossible. But there's a reason for it. Petra is carved into sandstone cliffs, and sandstone is quite porous. It can soak up water like a giant sponge. The area sometimes floods, and over time, moisture slowly made its way into the sealed tomb. So the bones had their own little ecosystem in the dark. Second, there's the mix of bodies, men, women, and kids, all buried together in one room. This kind of burial is called a communal burial. The Nabataeans liked to bury families together. They believed their loved ones would stay together even in the afterlife. But here's the part that makes the whole thing special. Being buried right in front of the treasury was a huge honor. Experts say this spot was like the ultimate real estate in the whole city. It would be kind of like getting buried on the front steps of a royal palace today. So these 12 people must have been very important, maybe even royal. And there's one more thing. The Nabataeans had a strange ritual called Marzea. Families would gather near tombs and hold big funerary feasts. They ate food like dates, olives, and meat. They burned incense, and they drank wine. They believed the dead were sitting right there with them, sharing the meal. So this sealed room probably witnessed a lot of ghostly dinners over the years. The mysterious people behind Petra. So who exactly built this tomb? Let's talk about them. They were called the Nabataeans, and honestly, they're one of the most underrated groups in ancient history. Most people have never even heard of them. But these guys built one of the greatest cities in the ancient world, and almost nobody knows their story. The Nabataeans were a group of desert traders from the Arab world. They started out as nomads, moving around with camels and tents. That was way back in the 4th century BC, so more than 2,300 years ago. For a long time, they didn't have cities or farms. They just followed the trade routes across the desert, sleeping under the stars. But they quickly got really good at one thing: trade. They moved goods like frankincense, myrrh, silk, and spices across the harsh desert. And these weren't cheap items. Frankincense alone was worth more than gold in the ancient world. Kings and emperors paid huge amounts for it. The Nabataean caravans connected Arabia, Egypt, and the Mediterranean. They knew the secret waterholes, they knew the safest paths, and they knew how to survive a desert that killed almost everyone else who tried to cross it. So, while bigger empires were busy fighting wars, the Nabataeans were quietly getting rich. Eventually, they got tired of moving around. So they picked a secret valley surrounded by mountains and turned it into their capital. They called it Rakhmu. Today we know it as Petra. And the location was genius. The only way into the city is through a long, narrow canyon called the Sick. In some places, the Sick is only a few meters wide, and the cliffs on both sides are almost 600 feet tall. So any enemy trying to invade would have to walk in single file, one soldier at a time. Defending the city was super easy. A handful of archers at the top could stop an entire army. That's probably why Petra never really got conquered by force for hundreds of years. At its peak, around 30,000 people lived in Petra. It had temples, markets, homes, and tombs everywhere you looked. Traders came from as far as India and Rome to do business there. They brought goods, ideas, and even different building styles with them. That's why Petra's buildings mix Greek columns, Egyptian details, and Arabian designs all in one place. You can't find that combo anywhere else on Earth. It's like someone took the best parts of three ancient worlds and blended them together. And the Nabataeans didn't just copy these styles, they made them their own. They carved massive temples and royal tombs straight out of solid rock, just chisels, hammers, and pure patience. Some of these carvings took decades to finish. These were the people who sealed that tomb. And now, finally, we might get to meet them. The desert city that shouldn't have worked. Here's something that still blows people's minds. Petra sits in a dry desert canyon. Natural water is pretty limited there. So how did 30,000 people live there? Well, the answer is clever engineering. The Nabataeans built a water system that was incredibly advanced for its time. And they didn't rely on just one water source. It was a whole network, carved directly into the rock. They cut channels, pipes, and storage tanks into the cliffs. This helped them guide water from nearby springs into the city. It was kind of like an ancient plumbing system, but built entirely out of stone. Even better, the water didn't just flow straight into the city. First, it passed through special settling basins. Dirt and sand would sink to the bottom, so the clean water kept moving. After that, the water was stored in large reservoirs surrounded by thick stone walls. Those walls kept the water cooler in the desert heat. But there was another problem: flash floods. When heavy rain fell in the mountains, water often rushed down the narrow valleys, and that could be deadly. To deal with that, the Nabataeans built dams and channels. These redirected the floodwater straight into their storage reservoirs, so the thing that could kill them actually became their biggest water supply. How cool is that? Thanks to all this, Petra had running water, public fountains, gardens, and even swimming pools in the middle of the desert. Ancient visitors from Rome couldn't believe their eyes. The spooky stone mysteries. Petra has even weirder secrets too. In 2013, researchers found something strange about the city's layout. Several of its main buildings line up with the sun during the solstices and equinoxes. That means on specific days of the year, sunlight passes through doorways and lights up sacred spots inside the buildings. So scientists now believe the buildings may have worked like giant calendars, helping people track the seasons in a desert landscape where time can be hard to notice. Another Petra mystery is 3 massive stone blocks. They're called the Jinn blocks. They go back to around the 2nd century BC, and they're some of the first big tombs ever built in Petra. 2 of them have burial chambers inside, and the 3rd one even has a grave on top, kind of like a little rooftop coffin. No one really knows why they were built. Most experts say they were tombs, but some think they were used for religious rituals or to honor ancient gods. Local Bedouin legends say the blocks are actually homes for jinn, which are supernatural spirits from Arabian folklore. Whether you believe that or not, these blocks have a really haunting feeling to them. The fall of the Rose City. However great Petra was, things started to change in 106 CE. That's when the powerful Roman Empire took control of the city. Trade didn't completely stop, but new sea routes slowly replaced the old caravan paths, and Petra lost some of its importance. Then came a really bad day. In 363 CE, a huge earthquake hit the region. It damaged buildings, cracked cliffs, and broke much of the city's water system. Another big quake hit in 551 CE and finished the job. Without water, living in the desert became almost impossible. So people slowly left, and the once thriving city turned into a quiet ghost town. Only a few Bedouin tribes stayed behind, using the empty tombs as their homes. For almost 1,000 years, Petra was forgotten. Maps dropped it. Western scholars thought it was just a legend. Then, in 1812, a Swiss explorer named Johann Ludwig Burckhardt heard local stories about a lost city hidden in the cliffs. He dressed up like an Arab traveler and convinced a guide to show him the way. When he walked through the sick and saw the treasury, he became the first outsider in centuries to see Petra. And just like that, the lost city was back. People gave Petra a beautiful nickname too. They called it the Rose City. The name comes from the pink and red color of the cliffs, especially when the sun is low in the sky. Today, that glow is one of the most magical sights in the world. But under all that beauty, Petra was still keeping a big secret. And it took another 200 years for someone to finally find it. The secret's still hiding below. What tourists see today is just a tiny slice of Petra. Some estimates say archaeologists have only dug up about 15% of the city. That means 85% is still buried. Like an iceberg, most of it is still hidden under sand and stone. And Petra keeps surprising us. In 2016, researchers used satellite images to spot a huge unknown monument. The platform is massive, about 184 by 161 feet, and it has columns along one side. Pottery fragments suggest it's over 2,150 years old. Nobody knows what it was used for yet, and nobody has fully dug it up either. Professor Bates and his team also believe the sealed room under the treasury is only the beginning. The radar picked up more empty voids nearby. That strongly suggests more hidden tombs are waiting to be opened, and each one could contain more skeletons, more artifacts, and maybe even royal remains. Some researchers now suspect that the treasury itself might have been the personal tomb of King Aretas IV, but they still need more evidence. The next step depends on money. Carefully studying just one skeleton takes a lot of time and a lot of funding, but every bone and every object inside that sealed room could help rewrite the history of the Nabataeans. So basically, even after centuries of exploration, Petra is still full of secrets, and the sealed room is probably just the first door cracking open. The rest is still waiting. That's it for today. So hey, if this mystery blew your mind, hit that like button and share it with your friends. And if you want more stories like this, subscribe and click on these videos.